Are you familiar with this feeling? A dull, aching, almost unbearable sensation. You are his best friend. You are the shoulder he cries on. You are his emergency contact, the one who rushes over in the middle of the night to listen to another drama about his job or about that other woman who broke his heart. You are perfect, understanding, kind, always available. You are that good woman everyone speaks of with warmth and respect. But there's one problem. This warmth and respect aren't enough for you, because when the lights go out, when the conversations end, he leaves to be with other women, women who might be less kind, less understanding, less convenient, but they are desired. And you are left in your flawless role, in this gilded cage of being the good woman. Feeling something inside, you slowly die. This slow death is the death of your authenticity, your shadow, your wild primordial feminine power. You would give anything to see, just once, not gratitude in his eyes, but hunger, not friendly affection, but obsession, for him to think of you not when he's feeling down, but because being without you is unbearable, for your absence to feel like a physical pain, like withdrawal, for his thoughts, like a compass, to always point in your direction, no matter where you are. What if I told you this is possible? What if I told you that the great psychologist Carl Jung, an explorer of the darkest and brightest depths of the human soul, actually left behind a map leading to this very state? He didn't speak of manipulation. He spoke of psychology, of the profound alchemy that occurs when a woman stops playing a role and becomes a force that is impossible to resist. She ceases to be an object, a function, a convenient accessory to his life, and becomes the very essence, the very space in which his own life gains meaning and color. What you are about to hear is not a set of cheap tricks. It is a roadmap to your own transformation, a path from being the good friend to becoming the woman whose presence becomes essential for a man, to becoming his personal most potent source of meaning, to what we have boldly called in the title, heroine, not in a chemical sense, but in a psychological one. In the sense of absolute, total indispensability, this journey will require courage, the courage to look your shadow in the face, to cast off the comfortable mask of your persona, and to find yourself. We will break down 7 keys, 7 stages of this alchemical transformation. And I promise you, if you follow this path, you won't just change his attitude toward you. You will change everything. You will become the woman who isn't just loved. You will become the woman he can't live without. Are you ready to stop being just good? Are you ready to become unforgettable? Then listen closely. Key 1: renouncing the role of the savior. The first and greatest mistake of the good woman is her unconscious desire to be the savior. You solve his problems. You give him advice. You analyze his actions. You comfort him when he is weak. You become his personal therapist, his mother, his crisis manager, and you believe this makes you valuable. You think, he sees how much I'm needed. He will appreciate it and love me for it. But Jung would tell you that you are making a fatal mistake that works against you on 3 levels. First, you are robbing him of his own journey. Jung taught that a person only gains strength by going through their own difficulties. By facing chaos, by overcoming obstacles, he integrates his shadow. He grows. This is his personal hero's journey. When you rush to save him, you, with the best of intentions, psychologically castrate him. You don't allow him to become the hero of his own story. You become not a muse who inspires great deeds, but a crutch that prevents him from learning to walk on his own. On a deep unconscious level, a man will never desire the crutch that symbolizes his weakness. He will be grateful, but he will yearn for the woman beside whom he feels strong himself. You become a function for him, not a woman. Your role is defined by his problems. No problems, no role for you. This is a shaky foundation for anything but the eternal friend zone. Second, ask yourself why you do this. Jung would point to your own shadow. Your role as a savior is not pure compassion. It is your persona, your social mask behind which lies a deep unconscious need to validate your own significance. You save him to feel needed, good, indispensable. You are feeding your ego, not his soul. You enter into an unconscious transaction. I will give you my comfort and care, and you will give me a sense of my own value. But a relationship built on such a transaction will never blossom into passion. It will remain functional. He will come to you like he would go to a pharmacy for a painkiller. But he will go and live where the celebration is. Third, and most importantly, you create a mother-son dynamic, not a man-woman one. In this dynamic, there is no room for erotic tension. No room for mystery, no room for desire. You become a safe harbor for him, but ships aren't built to stay in the harbor. They are built to sail into the stormy, uncharted sea, and he will leave for other women, for those who are the sea itself, unpredictable, dangerous, alluring. Your predictable kindness and willingness to help kill the mystery. He knows you will always be there, always understand, always forgive, and that which is guaranteed ceases to be valued. So what should you do? Stop saving him. It sounds cruel, but it is an act of supreme love, both for him and for yourself. When he comes to you with a problem, don't rush to give advice. Take a deep breath and wipe the look of the sympathetic martyr from your face. Instead, look at him with a quiet, deep faith, and say one of two phrases. The first, that sounds tough. I'm confident you'll find a solution. The second, what are your own thoughts on it? That's it. No plans, no instructions, no fuss. You stop being his crutch and become his mirror. You don't solve the problem for him, you reflect his own strength back to him. You silently tell him, I believe in you. I don't see a weak boy, but a strong man capable of handling anything. He might be confused. He might even be offended that he didn't get his usual dose of comfort, but when he's alone, the seed you planted will start to grow in his soul, the seed of self-belief, and that's where the magic happens. He starts to see you with new eyes. You are no longer just a function. You are a source of faith. Your presence no longer lulls him into helplessness, but instead activates his inner strength. He starts to associate you not with his problems, but with his strength, and that's the first step toward that kind of addiction. He'll start coming to you not to complain, but to feel like he can move mountains. You become his personal source of energy, not someone who feeds off his dramas. Key 2. Creating the sacred void. The good woman is afraid of emptiness. She fears silence in conversations. She fears pauses in the relationship. She fears not existing, so she tries to fill every space with herself. She's the one who texts first, calls first, is always available, always online. Her life revolves around him, filled with anxious anticipation. She believes that constant presence makes the connection stronger. Jung would have laughed at such naivety. He, more than anyone, understood the power of the unconscious, the power of what is left unsaid, undone, and unseen. It is in the void that desire is born. It is in absence that value is created. Your constant availability makes you less valuable. When you're available 24/7, you become background noise, pleasant, familiar, but nothing more. You become like the air in a room. It's essential, but no one notices it until it starts to run out. Your goal is to learn to be not the air, but a sip of rare, expensive wine, a drink that is anticipated, savored, and whose taste lingers long after. Creating this sacred emptiness is the art of managing your presence and your absence. This isn't about manipulation or playing games of push and pull. It is a reflection of your inner fullness. The emptiness you create should be filled by you, by your life, your interests, your personal growth. Start with something simple. Stop being the one who always initiates. Don't text him, "Good morning." Don't ask him how he's doing. Give him the chance to feel your absence. Let him wonder, where is she? What is she doing? Why isn't she texting? In this silence, in this emptiness, his thoughts start to work in your favor. His subconscious starts to picture you in his mind. He begins to miss you. Missing you is the first stage of psychological withdrawal. He starts to imagine what your life is like, and because he doesn't know, he fills it in with the most fascinating details. The second, deeper part of this sacred emptiness is your own independent, fulfilling life. A good woman often puts her own life on hold while she waits for him. She cancels plans with friends, just in case he calls. She doesn't go to the movies, because what if he wants to meet up? This is a disaster. You're willingly turning your life into a waiting room. The woman he becomes obsessed with has her own lively, fascinating world. She has a passion, whether it's tango, learning Japanese, volunteering at an animal shelter, or writing a novel. Her life is an exciting movie where he can have a role, but he'll never be the only audience member or the director. This movie keeps playing even when he's not in the theater. When you're fully engaged in your own life, your absence is truly felt. You're not just pretending to be busy. You really are busy. Your energy isn't spent checking his online status, but on building something meaningful in your own world. And when you do make time for him, that time becomes incredibly valuable. He realizes that he's been given access to something special. He's been given an hour from a woman whose world is vast and fascinating, not all the time from a woman whose world just revolves around waiting for his call. Jung called the process of finding oneself individuation. It's the journey to your true self, to your own center. A woman who walks this path becomes magnetic. Her energy no longer leaks out in anxious waiting, but is focused within herself. She becomes self-sufficient, and there's nothing more attractive or irresistible than self-sufficiency. He starts to realize that you're with him not because you're lonely, but because you've made a conscious choice. And the choice made by a free, whole person is worth 1,000 times more than the desperate attachment of someone who is needy. He won't just want to be in your world, he'll want to earn his place in it. Asterisk, asterisk. Key 3. Integrating your shadow. Asterisk, asterisk. Here we reach the very core of our transformation, the thing that frightens good women the most, their own shadow. In Jungian psychology, the shadow is where we store everything we suppress and deny in ourselves, all of our unacceptable qualities. For the good woman, the shadow is her anger, her selfishness, her sexuality, her unpredictability, her ability to say no, her right to put herself first. She is afraid of these qualities. She sees them as bad, and she spends her whole life using up a tremendous amount of energy to keep this bad girl locked away. The result? She becomes predictable, bland, and one-dimensional. She's like a painting made with only light colors. It lacks depth, contrast, and drama. It lacks life. Jung said, "I would rather be whole than good." That is the entire essence of it. The male unconscious, his anima, the inner image of a woman, is not attracted to the flat, idealized image of the Virgin Mary. It is drawn to a whole woman, one in whom light and dark have formed an alliance, someone who can be a gentle kitten but can also unsheath her claws at any moment, someone who can heal his wounds with her compassion, and can also inflict a wound with her truth so that he finally wakes up. To become the woman he is addicted to means letting your shadow out of the basement and making friends with it. This doesn't mean becoming a bitch. It means becoming whole. It means allowing yourself to be everything. How do you do this in practice? First, acknowledge your righteous anger. When he does something you don't like, is late, breaks his promise, or devalues your feelings, stop swallowing it with a sweet smile. You don't need to scream or throw a tantrum. You need to calmly, coolly, and firmly set a boundary. I don't like that. You can't treat me that way. Your anger is the guardian of your boundaries. If you don't respect it, no one will respect your boundaries. A man faced with your calm but unyielding no feels both shock and respect. He realizes he's not dealing with a spineless doll, but with a person who has her own rules. Point 2. Embrace healthy self-interest. Learn to put your own interests first. If you're tired and want to be alone, and he invites you to a party with his friends, politely decline without feeling guilty. Thanks for the invitation, but tonight I'm spending the evening on myself. This doesn't push him away. It makes him more interested. He sees that your resources aren't unlimited, and that you decide for yourself who gets them. The value of your presence instantly goes up. He starts to realize that your time and energy are a prize to be earned, not something to be taken for granted. 3. Awaken your primal sexuality. The good woman often suppresses her sexuality, seeing it as something dirty or using it as a bargaining chip to get love. A woman who has integrated her shadow owns her sexuality. She enjoys her body and her sensuality. She's not afraid to be seductive. Her sexuality isn't an invitation, but a way of being. She radiates it, not for him, but for herself. This shows up in the way she dances alone in her room, the way she savors her food, the way she wears clothes that make her feel alive, and it drives him wild. He senses this raw, uncontrollable feminine energy, and deep down he knows that only with a woman like this can he feel like a real man, not just a nice guy. When you embrace your shadow, you become unpredictable. One day you're an angel of kindness, and the next you're a witch who sees right through him. You become multifaceted, deep, and intriguing. He never knows which version of you he'll encounter today, and that's the purest form of psychological heroine. He gets hooked on these emotional highs and on the mystery you embody. He becomes addicted to trying to figure you out, but it's impossible, because you are life itself in all its fullness and contradiction. Key 4. Letting go of verbal control. The good woman talks too much. She explains, argues, persuades, and justifies herself. She tries to build the relationship, solve problems, and win love through words. She believes that if she just finds the right words, he'll understand everything and change. She uses words as a tool for control, verbally trying to steer him into the behavior she wants. Jung would say this is a road to nowhere. The conscious mind communicates with words, but attraction, passion, and obsession, these are the language of the unconscious, and the unconscious doesn't understand words. It understands energy, symbols, silence, and vibrations. The woman he's addicted to has mastered the art of nonverbal influence. Her power isn't in what she says, but in how she stays silent, how she looks, how she moves. She understands that real communication happens on an energetic level. 1. The power of silence. When a tense moment comes up, the good woman starts to fuss, to talk, to try to explain everything. The magnetic woman goes quiet. She doesn't just stop talking, she creates an active, charged silence. She simply looks at him, calmly, deeply, without judgment. There is more power in that silence than in 1,000 words. He is left alone with his conscience, with his thoughts. He is forced to fill the silence himself, and more often than not, he starts telling the truth, making excuses, explaining himself. Your silence makes him do the work, makes him face himself. 2. The power of the gaze. Stop looking at him with the eyes of a pleading puppy or a strict schoolteacher. Practice the Jungian gaze. This is a look that says, I see you, every part of you, your light and your darkness, and I'm not afraid of either. It's a gaze that is accepting, yet a little bit detached. There's no neediness in it, but there is depth. When he catches this look, he feels completely exposed, and at the same time, completely accepted. This is an extremely rare feeling for a man, and it creates a powerful attachment. 3. The language of the body. Your body speaks louder than words. The good woman often has a closed-off body, slumped shoulders, crossed arms, an uncertain walk. This is a body that's apologizing for its own existence. Start working with your body. Walk as if the whole earth belongs to you. Sit like a queen. Your movements should be fluid, unhurried, and full. When you touch him, it shouldn't be a frantic pat, but a conscious, almost ritualistic act. Your body should radiate dignity and sensuality. This is an energetic signature that he picks up on instantly. When you let go of verbal control and switch to the language of the unconscious, you step out of the role of the supplicant and into the role of the priestess. You stop trying to manage his conscious mind and start speaking directly to his soul. He may not understand what's happening on an intellectual level, but he will feel your power. He will be drawn to you to experience again that feeling of being truly seen, but not judged, of being understood without words. This is the highest level of mastery. Asterisk, asterisk, key 5, emotional independence. Be the ocean, not the puddle. Asterisk, asterisk. The emotional state of the good woman is completely dependent on him. He texts, and she's on top of the world. He doesn't text, and she spirals into panic and depression. Her mood swings like a patient's EKG. She's an emotional puddle, only reflecting his behavior. Anything he does sends ripples through her. This is exhausting for both her and him. A man instinctively runs from a woman who tries to make him responsible for her happiness. It's an unbearable burden. He doesn't feel like a partner, but rather like an emotional crutch who constantly has to support her fragile balance. The woman he's addicted to is emotionally sovereign. She is like an ocean. Storms may rage within her, or there may be total calm, but her depths always remain serene and unshakable. Her happiness is her own responsibility, and she doesn't put that on anyone else. What does this mean? It means your good mood doesn't depend on whether he calls you or not. You wake up and create your own happiness, with your favorite music, a delicious cup of coffee, meditation, and plans for the day. It means that if he lets you down, you don't treat it like a tragedy. You feel your emotions, anger, sadness, but you don't let them destroy you. You process them, learn from them, and move forward. You don't call him up in tears demanding an apology. You might just take a step back to regain your inner balance. Jung spoke of the importance of containing emotions. This is not suppression, but the ability to hold your feelings within without chaotically spewing them onto those around you. A woman who knows how to contain her emotions becomes an incredibly attractive, safe harbor for a man. He understands that with her, he can rest from the chaos of the world. She won't add to the drama. She herself is the embodiment of calm strength, but don't confuse this with coldness. An ocean is not ice, it's alive. You share your joy with him, not so he will praise you, but because you are overflowing. You might share your sadness, not so he will save you, but to allow him to see your vulnerability, which is a part of your strength. This vulnerability, shown from a place of strength, not neediness, is disarming and creates deep trust. When a man understands that you are not trying to drain his energy but are a source yourself, he begins to gravitate toward you like a power outlet. He gets hooked on your state of being. He wants to be near you, not to solve your problems, but to recharge with your strength, your calm, your wholeness. You become the solution for him, not the problem. And this is the most lasting kind of addiction. Asterisk, asterisk, key 6, the mirror principle, reflecting his self, asterisk, asterisk. We've reached one of the most subtle and powerful keys. The good woman tries to earn love by showing how wonderful she is. She flaunts her talents, talks about her achievements, and does everything she can to prove her worth. Look how smart, beautiful, and successful I am. Don't I deserve to be loved? The heroine woman does exactly the opposite. She shifts the focus from herself to him, but not in the way the Savior does. She becomes a magical mirror for him. Jung believed that within every person, there is a self, their true higher I, their potential, their genius, their inner God. But for most people, this self is hidden beneath layers of fears, complexes, and social masks, personas. The task of the magnetic woman is to become the mirror in which a man, for the first time, sees not his insecure persona, but his radiant self. How does this work? This isn't flattery. Flattery is praise for his persona, his ego. That's a cool suit you have, that was a funny joke you told, that's cheap and ineffective. Flattery feels like manipulation. The mirror principle is about seeing and reflecting his potential, his deep archetype. When he shares an idea with you, even the wildest one, you don't criticize it. You look at him with admiration and say, there's a grand scale to that. That's really in your spirit. You're not praising the idea, but his inner nature, his creator or ruler archetype. When he overcomes a difficulty, you don't say, good job. You say, I always knew you had that strength in you. You are appealing to his innate quality, his warrior archetype. You listen not to what he says, but to what is behind his words. You see his fears, but you also see his courage, and you reflect his courage back to him. The fact that you decided to do this despite your fear says more about you than any success. You become the person who believes in him more than he believes in himself. Your presence becomes a catalyst for his own growth. With you, he becomes the best version of himself. He starts to achieve more, think bolder, act more decisively. He feels that with you, he is not just Joe, but Joseph the Great. And this is where the deepest, most unbreakable bond is formed. He becomes addicted, not to you. He becomes addicted to the state he experiences when he is with you, the state of his own power, his own genius, his own significance. You become his muse, in the highest Jungian sense of the word. You are the one who helps his soul to be born. And tell me, can a man voluntarily give up the woman who gives him to himself? Never. He will hold on to her as the greatest treasure in his life. Asterisk, asterisk, key 7, conquering the fear of loss, freedom as the highest value. Asterisk, asterisk, and finally, the last key, which crowns all the previous ones. This is the foundation on which the entire structure rests. It is your total existential renunciation of the fear of losing him. A good woman lives in constant fear, the fear of saying the wrong thing, doing the wrong thing, the fear of being alone. This fear seeps into her every gesture, her every word. And a man, like a predator, can smell this fear from a mile away, and it repels him. Fear makes you weak, needy, predictable. It turns any relationship into a transaction based on scarcity. The woman he is addicted to has walked through this fear and burned it in the fire of her individuation. She has understood one simple but liberating truth: her value does not depend on the presence or absence of a man in her life. She is valuable in and of herself. Her universe will not collapse if he leaves. She is ready to lose him. This doesn't mean she doesn't care. It means that her love for herself, for her truth, for her soul, will always come first. If the relationship begins to destroy her, if the man stops respecting her, if he betrays her, she will not cling to him. She will not try to fix him or win him back. She will leave calmly, without drama, without hatred, with a quiet sadness, but with unshakable dignity. She will simply close the door because her inner world is more important to her than a relationship that poisons it. It is this very readiness to leave that makes her incredibly valuable. On an unconscious level, a man understands that this woman cannot be taken for granted. She cannot be bought with promises. She cannot be held with manipulation. Her trust and her presence must be earned every single day. This freedom from fear gives you incredible power. You can be completely honest. You can embrace your shadow, set boundaries, be inconvenient, because you are not afraid of the consequences. The worst that can happen is he will leave, but you know that you will be okay. Your world will not fall apart. You are an ocean, and the departure of one ship will not dry you up. This inner freedom creates an aura of unattainability and royal dignity around you. He understands that you being with him is his privilege, not his right, and he will do everything not to lose this privilege. Paradoxically, it is the willingness to lose him forever that binds him to you more tightly than any chains. He feels that he is with a free being, and his greatest victory will be to make that being choose to stay with him, willingly, again and again. Conclusion: the alchemy of wholeness. We have walked this path together, 7 keys, 7 steps from the good girl to the magnetic woman. Let's look at this path one more time. You stopped saving him, allowing him to become a man. You created a sacred emptiness, making him long for your presence. You befriended your shadow, becoming unpredictable and profound. You mastered the language of the unconscious, learning how to influence without words. You achieved emotional sovereignty, becoming a source of strength for him, not a burden. You became his mirror, reflecting his own greatness back to him, and you let go of fear, showing him that your presence is a gift, not an obligation. This is not a set of manipulations. This is the path to your own wholeness, the path that Jung called individuation. You are not trying to become someone else to please him. You are becoming yourself, real, alive, whole. And it is this wholeness of yours, this inner alchemy where light and dark, strength and vulnerability, kindness and healthy self-interest have merged, that becomes his personal heroine, a source of life, meaning, and endless fascination. Stop being just good. The world doesn't need more good, convenient women. The world needs living, real, whole women. Become one, not for him, but for yourself. And as for him, he simply won't be able to live without you, because for him, you will become more than just a woman. For him, you will become the path to his own soul. You will become the adventure he has been searching for his entire life. If this revelation has touched you, share it. Let there be more women who know their true power. Let the world be filled not with convenient girlfriends, but with unforgettable muses.